So I was always fascinated by scientific subjects, for sure. I was doing IB at high school, and I took biology and chemistry as my subjects for science area. And during that time, I also was part of IGM team. So that's a synthetic biology competition. So I was doing some lab research already at the time. So I really knew at the time, yeah, I would like to pursue a career in science, more specifically in research.
I think since I was about 13 or 14, I sort of had a good idea that I wanted to go into science. For a long time I thought it would be physics or chemistry, but I think eventually I figured out that I really wanted to study biochemistry.
I kind of knew that biology and chemistry is something I would like to go, more specific, something that's more like cellular and molecular. That's why I attended opening days at the Oxford University, because based on the course description online, I was like, oh yeah, that's something that joins both of them and emphasizing the things I'm most interested in.
Making my application was a lot of sort of Googling and trying to figure out what exactly and where exactly I wanted to study. So it took me a little while to sort of figure out, but I had a rough idea as to what field I wanted to go into, what sort of subjects I wanted to study.
Had to come here, even though I'm international. I didn't have a Skype interview, which I think it's good because you stay at colleges and you get this experience from being at the college accommodation. So you see, like, you can have a dinner at home, stuff like that. But interviews by themselves, they were not that hard. I mean, I had 3 interviews, and mostly they were expecting us to know just the basic knowledge from IB, GCSEs, A levels, but then applying some logical thinking to further progress into stuff that you might not be familiar at the time, but based on the knowledge that you know, you'll be able to solve. So it was more like a problem-solving skills interview, so nothing too hard.
I did have a Skype interview. Actually quite fun. I think there wasn't the stress of being there and sort of seeing your competition, which I think would have thrown me off a little bit. But the Skype interview was really, I enjoyed it, which I think a lot of students here found that they had actually enjoyed their interview, because the questions that we were being asked were challenging, they were interesting. And I had a lot of fun with the things. The tutors were really they helped me get to the right answer. I think they wanted to more see the approach that I was taking rather than the actual answer that I was getting. So usually for a tutorial we have I think in second and third year they're primarily essays, but in first year we have a lot of problem sheets as well. So usually the tutor would give us a piece of work, we would do the piece of work and submit it 1 or 2 days before the tutorial, and then we get it back during the tutorial, and then we discuss it and we sort of go over what we should have done, what we shouldn't have done, and how we should have approached it, and sort of just generally understanding the topic. So for an essay, perhaps the tutor will give us a little bit of a reading list or somewhere like a starting point, and you go about reading through that, doing some supplementary reading on the side if you'd like, and the libraries have all the textbooks that we need, and and you just sit down and write the essay.
Well, I would not say for myself that I'm naturally a very shy person, but because of the language barrier when I came here first, I think I was quite shy. I didn't want to I didn't want to speak, I just didn't want to say something that would be completely wrong. So I was quite shy at the beginning. But then the tutors, especially in first year, they encourage you to participate actively during tutorials. And I think that's something that's so important, because even if it's an idea that's maybe not the best, you get the feedback on it and you can improve it, and you hear other people's opinion, which is so important, because not everyone has the same one.
We have about a few hours of lectures a day, and either 1 or 2 tutorials sort of spaced out through the week. And the week is, it starts off, like the days start off with going to lectures, and then you come home, you do a little bit of work, you perhaps go for a tutorial, and sometimes the end of the week we have labs, and generally there's quite a lot of free time as such, but it's sort of time that you have to budget yourself to work in. And I mean, if you go about it well, then you actually end up having a decent amount of time to just sort of relax and do extracurriculars or do things you're interested in.
So yeah, this year we had a 23-week project. Well, 20 in total because of the COVID situation. So my day-to-day, basically for here, the whole year would be from 9 to 5 to 6, working in lab, trying to brainstorm why certain things are not working, why are they working, or how should we progress like in the new area of research to answer a certain scientific question. In general, I really enjoy lab. Well, you have some practicals in first and second and third years, but once you have your own research, it's such a different perspective that you get on performing lab work, because you are there, you are doing it, and everything that you do, it's what it will answer the question that you set. So I think that's something that's really good skill for further on, especially if you want to pursue a career in research, for instance, doing a PhD. So before coming to uni, I did a lot of extracurricular activities. So I was used of hard working, but still, when you come here, I think first year is quite intense. I mean, it's nothing that's not manageable, but it's just the amount of work that you have to do. If you stay on top of it, it's fine. You have probably 1 or 2 sheets per week and 1 to 2 classes, question sheets, besides having, I don't know, 12 lectures every week. So it's not too bad. It is completely manageable. And I think as you proceed from first year to second year, you can arrange how you work more by yourself. So you can choose the topics that you're doing. You can choose you can arrange within the college when are your tutorials and what is the format of them, for instance, being 1 hour, 2 hours in bigger, smaller groups, and how much is actually the workload. So if you want to do an essay before the tutorial or after the tutorial, so I think it's quite flexible, which is good because you can really focus on the things that you are most interested in and really make an emphasis of what you think is important for the subject.
Really looking forward to my project, my 4th year project. I mean, I was looking forward to it at the start of this year when we had to sort of figure it out and contact supervisors. And yeah, I can't wait to get into a lab.
I was working in Matt Higgins' lab and was working on immunosuppressive proteins in parasitic worms. You are given a day-to-day supervisor. So he's there by your side and he helps you not just for the group meeting, but every day. So my first group meeting was fine. I think it was an hour and a half long. So it's really beneficial because the whole group comes together and brainstorms on the problems that you might encounter during that time that you were working in lab, or something that they would propose, oh, that might be a really good direction to take further on. So yeah, it was really nice. They're all very supporting and just having such an amazing feedback. It's really good.
So I really like the concept of having a 4-year degree because I think when I applied, I wanted to go into research. So I knew that doing a 4-year master's inclusive degree would sort of be something that I wanted to do. I know there are students who perhaps want to do a 3-year degree and then see whether or not they want to stay in science or whether or not they want to stay in research. And for them, I think it makes more sense to do sort of a 3-year degree where you get to then explore other options. But I think for students who know they want to stay, if not in research, but then a science associated field, the 4-year degree was, I mean, it was the right choice for me. I don't now have to sit and think about applications. I don't, it's all a very streamlined process. The department helps you pick a supervisor and then you go and do the project, and you can focus more on doing that than the actual application for a master's degree. I mean, I feel like I just joined, the time is just sort of gone by and third year's almost over. But yeah, I think I'm sure that like it feels like, you know, a whole extra year that you have to do, but it isn't really like that when you're actually in it.
You everything in first year. You get this broad like knowledge of biochemistry, so focusing a bit from like first year from a mathsy point of views and like biophysics, and then further going into more research by every year. So at the beginning of first year you might listen to certain like lectures or like go to the symposium and listen to some speakers, and you're like, oh, I have no idea what's happening. At the beginning of second year that changes completely, because you get the whole basic knowledge in first year, which is just so important. And then in second and third year you are preparing yourself for finals like all together, and I think it's good that you have 2 years to prepare for that and really focus on what you want to do, and actually just not like learning, but actually understanding, and then it stays with you. And then of course in fourth year having the research project, I think that's really good. It's really good structure of the course.
I've really enjoyed my time here. I've really enjoyed the course that I've done. I think it was the right choice for me, and you know, the department has been really helpful with everything. There's tons of opportunities here. You know, research seminars that are open to all students of any year group. There are opportunities to work in the department over the summer and over the vacations. You know, there's, again, it's what you make of it, and if you really want to make something of, you know, if you really want to study biochemistry, I think that there's no better place to do it.